that they had already served time for, and they were headed back for their second part of their sentence that they were going to be forced to fulfill. And he was disgusted and angry, and he wanted to support them in the way that he could, and so he went up there. He didn't know that he would be staying longer. All of you guys know the story. He had one set of clothes. He was planning to be back. And when asked to go to Malheur, he didn't hesitate, but he went and he stood with Ammon and Ryan for the Hammonds to see if they could do more. And I'm very proud of my husband. I'm proud of the example that he has set for us, for the courage that he has shown. I remember saying goodbye to him that day and not wanting to go, of course. And I remember him telling me to have faith and to be strong and to have courage. And I thought to myself, you are all those things. You are all those things. You have been such a good example to each one of us. I didn't realize that that was going to be the last time that I was going to see him. But had I not taken the time to go and be there and to work alongside of him for just those few days, I would just be hating life right now. But I got to be there and to see what they were doing and to understand it a little bit more, because quite frankly at home I was going, what are you doing up there? And like any good wife, you want your man back home where he's going to be safe, and where you're going to see him again, and where you can live the rest of your life with the dreams that you had, that you wanted to fulfill. My husband was a man of honor. He was a man of God, and he was a family man, and he loved this country. He was a peaceful man. He believed in the Constitution. He believed in all of our liberties. He believed in the amendments that are in there. The freedom of speech, the freedom to worship, the right to carry, all of those he was willing to fight for and to put down his life for. I wanted to talk about something that's been going on just recently for us. I had gone to Colorado to speak, and after we left, we heard some scuttlebutt, and the ladies looked into it, heard that there was a memo that had been given out to the town, to all of the authorities, in reference to our coming to town. They had to file with the Freedom of Information Act to get the memo, and when they did, this is what it said. Please be advised that Delta PD was informed that there will be a group of sovereign citizens meeting at, and I'll make that place blank, on July 6th at 1830 hours. They will be there doing a fundraiser for the sovereign citizen who was shot and killed in the Oregon standoff. It has been reported that among the people attending will be the sovereign citizen's wife who was shot and killed. And this was sent out to all of the officials of that town, all of the sheriff's department, police department, and they, with that, after we had spoke, we did not know that they had sent this memo out. And the ladies went, after getting this memo, and asked to speak to the sheriff of that county and the police. And when meeting with those men, they found out that the FBI, the BLM, and other Oregon officials had made a visit to that town prior to my attending that rally, asking to have permission to raid that event. My grandchildren were there. Other people brought their children to hear me speak. And those officers or FBI and officials expressed concern that there were dangerous sovereign citizens that would be at this event and asked permission to raid it. The request was denied, but then the sheriff and the city managers felt it was important that they put out that memo to all of the business people in the city to make sure that they could keep their people safe. The reason I'm bringing this out is because there's a lot of division like he spoke about, but there's also the effort of the other side to demonize in whatever way possible this cause that we're trying to make aware, educate, and teach other people about the Constitution. That they want to demonize us. So the labeling has begun. Their definition on the FBI website of what a sovereign citizen is, it says, is an anti-government extremist, a domestic terrorist, someone who believes they're above the law, someone who won't pay their taxes or get a driver's license, social security card, or passport. People who engineer various white-collar crimes, mortgage fraud, buy and sell illegal weapons, and people who threaten judges and law enforcement and are murderers. I was labeled sovereign citizen, extremist, terrorist, murderer, because I was the wife of one they called a sovereign citizen, terrorist, murderer. He was the one murdered. I believe that the government is being misused by irresponsible governors to intimidate and slander us, by being followed and intimidated by irresponsible governors and having our reputation and character libeled and slandered by them. We continue to remain steadfast and will continue to share our account of my husband's voice. We refuse to have his voice buried along with his body. That is my position on it. That is my family's position on it. They can name me and label me anything that they want. That doesn't make it so. I'm not a murderer. I'm not anti-government. I am one who pays for taxes. I do carry a driver's license, and I just applied for a passport. So what else is on there? I haven't told anyone lately either, and nor do I intend to. My husband was a supporter of pro-responsible government. Responsible government. I'm just going to quote my husband now. We are not just a bunch of wannabe anarchists that don't believe in government. Contrary, I believe in the government. I believe in the federal government. We need the federal government in its proper place. I quote again. I believe in government. I believe in the federal government. We need the federal government. How else are we going to protect our country? I believe in the proper relationship between the states and the federal government and the counties. He believed in the federal government, but he felt that they were out of their bounds of responsibility. He felt that he needed to be one of many who was trying to help remind them of their proper role. But he didn't say that he didn't believe that they weren't necessary. for what is outlined within the Constitution. I intend to make sure that I push back on this just a little, because I think being followed around just because I'm exercising my First Amendment right to speak in a peaceful assembly, I think I have that right. And I'm not calling for a war. I'm not calling for anyone to pick up their guns and to go out and create havoc of any kind. What I am asking, and what my family wants to do, and we have made a mission statement to this effect, is to help teach, bring awareness, help educate about the Constitution, because we are lacking as a people. I am lacking. My husband did the work. My husband sat every day reading from multiple different kinds of books so that he could know what he was talking about. I didn't put that time and effort into that. I'm playing catch up now so that I can be effective in helping to bring that needed awareness to what we are losing. We are losing our liberties, and we are letting it happen. And there's various different reasons why we are letting it happen. We're too busy. We don't care. We don't have enough time. Something else is more important. There's lots of different reasons. I just want to play into that. But we, as a family, decided to continue his message in the best way that we can. And we fall short. Believe me, I would much rather have my husband here speaking to you than listening to myself up here. Because he did a great job. Now I want to just go ahead and share what I was going to share before last week when I was informed about all of that. There's multiple different, like I said, there's multiple different fights. I'm trying to battle right now between this new thing and the BLM pushing just a little bit in my world right now, and the wrongful death suit with my husband, and also trying to remember to help and bring awareness to the plight of the Bundys and all the other men that are incarcerated still and that are not receiving a fair trial. They're in the process of jury selection, and just watching that whole process is sickening. I said that I wanted to share with you some, on a more lighter note. I had prepared just a little bit of intimate things so that you could get to know my husband a little bit better. I know you've all listened to his videos and listened to what he believed in, but he was a man of God first, he was a husband second, and a father third, and our most precious role has been to be grandparents. And he was hopefully great-grandfather too. And we are proud grandparents of 22 and 3 more on the way. And when my husband was murdered in January, 5 of my daughters were pregnant. And that's how we have them in our family. We have them in cycles of 6 at a time, and 5 the next year, and 6 again. But the girls were a little bit sad, thinking that, God's not here, and He's not going to get to know my little one that's coming. And then we had a light bulb moment. And the Lord is in heaven, playing with them now. He's teaching them now and loving them now. Too bad they can't remember when they get here, but I know that that's what's happening. I know He's in I have a couple of journal entries from his personal journals that I wanted to share just to give you an insight to what he believed and how he felt. And this one is on family. It's dated 4/8/2012. This is Easter Sunday. It has been a wonderful weekend. We've rounded up Dad's cows and branded. All of my family and a lot of extended family were there. It was very rewarding to ride with my father, Guy, my brother, my daughters, Tina and Gabrielle, my nieces and my nephews. My daughters carry their own weight. They are becoming good riders and have good judgment in working livestock. My heart is filled with joy and gratitude as I watch them run their horses through the brush and the trees cutting cows. Danielle Catriel with her dark hair and Tian with her blonde hair flowing behind them. As a father, I am blessed beyond measure. After branding, Jeanette and I rode around the old ranch house and I pointed out all the old points of the homestead. And as we rode around, we watched all the families and the little children doing the Easter egg hunt. Mom and Dad's posterity has grown greatly. The joy and happiness as all of the families interact and work together was wonderful to see. Family was the most important thing to him, and I was grateful for that. I was grateful for the time that he took with each one of us. 3/2/2012. This journal entry is about the Constitution. This is the start of a new journal in the year 2012. My name is Robert Leroy Finicum, and I am 51 years old. I'm a father of 11 children, and my wife is Jeanette Finicum. The world I grew up in is rapidly changing. I was born in this choice land of the United States of America. This has been a choice land and a noble country. In the more than 230 years of her existence, this country has been the standard of freedom throughout the world. I have lived to see her reach a pinnacle of wealth that has never been known in the history of the world. God raised up noble men who laid the foundations of a free government. The Constitution which they laid down was inspired of heaven for the protection of man's God-given liberties. For almost 100 years, evil and conspiring men sought to destroy those liberties for their own power and gain. With sweet words of honey laced with poison, they have lied to us, professing care and concern for the working man and the downtrodden. They have enacted laws that breach the safeguards erected by the Constitution. The politicians violate their oath to protect and defend the Constitution. The boy loved his country. He had a burning desire to help preserve our liberties for our children and our grandchildren. He grasped the founders' intent for how our country's government was to be run. He wanted to teach. He wanted to sound the alarm and wake up the populace. He wanted to do that in a peaceful way. And how was he going to do it? How? I can remember my husband saying, who am I? How can I? What can I do? How can I make a difference? And he had this idea. If I know I can write this book, And about 25 years ago, he wrote this book. And, excuse me, it was a really cute little Louis L'Amour book that we haven't published. And so when he was talking to me about this back in 2012 and 2013, he says, I know I could write a book, I could write a story. I know I could inspire people to make changes. I know I could put it down in the book. And so I didn't laugh at him. I really knew he could. And I was excited that he wanted to do that. And he says, Jeanette, he says, if you take on the boys, because that's what we did, we took care of teenage boys that needed a home and a man to look up to, one to emulate. And Tian and Danielle, if you'll help me run the ranch, I know I can write this book. And so that's what we did. We all pitched in. And my husband sat in the room with the laptop on his lap and plucked at keys for about 6 months. And he finished that book on my birthday, June 20th, 2013. And I was the first one that was able to read it. And I remember it was like him giving birth. He was so cute. He put me in the room, and I was sitting on the bed stacked with pillows, and handed me the manuscript, and he said to me, let me know what you think. I'll take care of everything out here, you just read the book. And so I'm reading away. A couple hours later, he's knocking on the door, and he's sticking his head in, and he's saying to me, what do you think? Where are you? Where are you at? What do you think of that person in the book? Have you got to this point yet? And I'm going, no, I haven't. Oh, wait. Another hour later, he's doing the same thing. It was so cute. It was so funny to watch him. He so was excited about you reading it. He probably did that another time, and then I finally said, I can't read if you keep interrupting me. So the next day, he took all the boys and all the kids and left me alone in the house so that he couldn't disturb me because it wasn't the kids. And I was able to finish the book. And what an amazing book. It taught so many different things on so many different levels. He was able to teach about our liberties that were being lost, the battles that we face and will face in a catastrophe. I don't know how many of you have read his book, but there's different scenarios throughout that make you ask yourself, what am I going to do? What will I choose? And it was interesting as the book started to travel through the family, and we have 8 daughters and 3 boys. And the girls are very vocal and opinionated. And we had these little conferences. And we would sit as a family and talk about, okay, when this person was doing this and they were faced with this choice, what would you do? And it was inevitable that one of us would do one thing and another would do another. There was no wrong or right answers, but boy, did it make you think. It made you think. I want to read what one of my friends wrote about the book, because I just thought he captured it all in what he wrote to me. Joe wrote, a major theme of the book is that the people we each are before the collapse will be the people we are the day after the collapse. So spend your time now being with the people, being the people that you want to be. I thought that was very insightful that he got from my husband's book. He goes on to say, it's about preparing your children, teach them about faith, hard work, justice, and freedom. He says, Lavoie's personal knowledge of the joy and the love within a family is very enviable, leaving you with wanting to spend more time doing what you love and with who you love and inspiring you to not waste time. If he could be here to hear that, he would be humbled. He'd go, oh gosh, I isn't doing what I wanted it to do. And so in a way, he's still here teaching us. His words on video are still having an effect. And it is waking up people. And so his job is still carrying on. But now we need to figure out what it is that we need to do. And I was having a little talk up in the mountain there during dinner. And I feel impressed to say some of the same things I said up there. That we all are different. There's no two of us the same. God made us that way. He likes unique things. And we all have unique talents and gifts that he's bestowed upon each one of us. We all have a destiny, but it's not the same as a boy or me or you. So the trick is tapping into what it is that is our destiny. What is our gift? What is our talent? What is our role that we need to play in this bigger goal of saving our Constitution, restoring our lost liberties, and saving this country from the inevitable direction in which it's heading. How do we turn the boat? And I don't think it's any one person that's going to turn that boat, or any one group, as he was saying. I think it's going to be a collective effort. And I think each one of us have a different role to play in that collective effort. And I know that we can be a force for good. And I know that we can inspire people through love. And I know that we can rally people around us from all walks of life if we handle it in that way, if we move forward in that way. In closing, I was really offended when they labeled me what they labeled me just for doing what I'm doing tonight and sharing the same message with you tonight that I shared in Colorado. How does that make me a terrorist? How does sharing journal entries from my husband's diary and the love that he had for the family and for the country qualify me to be defined as they have defined me? And at first I was kind of upset, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to fix that, right? And then I thought to myself, they just want to throw you off balance. Stay centered, keep focused, look up, reach up to God to direct me in what it is I need to do. Don't worry about all these other minions around. But I think we need to remember that there are forces of evil out there working against this. This has been going on, a fight against, good and evil has been going on forever and before time. Agency has also been a war that we've been in. Those who want to control, and then God's way of allowing us to choose for ourselves. That has also been the war. But how do we combat the media? How do we combat those in control of the media and the narrative? How do we that they're redefining words. Because words matter, right? Words matter and how we use them. So how do we let them redefine words? Patriot, constitutionalist, sovereign. When was that a bad word? When was the patriot a bad word? When? Now constitutionalist? Because when I was on that FBI website, constitutionalist was listed. When was that a bad word? I don't know what the answers are to the questions I'm presenting to you guys. I just see this as a pattern of the media taking something good and presenting it to the populace, the uneducated, spoon-fed populace, a new definition to a word, a good word. I don't know what the answer is. I hope that maybe collectively we can come up with something in a positive way to push back and turn that piece around. And to not allow them to take a word and redefine it and then label us with the new definition of that good word. Patriot, constitutionalist. They're doing that with the definition of marriage. Just taking. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not just going off, but these are just things that are coming to me as I go out and as I'm experiencing this new world that I find myself in. And I don't mean to say it like this because I know just a housewife, I shouldn't say it like that. I was a domestic engineer. That's what I was. But, I was in my own little world. And those words it wasn't in my face, but it's in my face right now. But we shouldn't have to wait until it's in our face. We need to slow down a little bit, recognize what's going on around us, and then try to make effective change in the ways that we're capable of. Never run faster than we can, because that'll wear us out. But at the same time, we need to be doing more. And I know that's what I'm trying to do. And right now, I'm grateful for the more that I have to do, because I truly just don't want to be sitting at home right now by myself. So I'm grateful to have this opportunity to be able to come out and share my husband with you and my family with